Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm joined once again by Michael Braiden. Michael, thank you very much for talking to me again. It's been a while and there have been a lot of changes, most notably President Putin's decree for, correct me if I'm wrong, ideological asylum. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Hi, Mike. Yeah, it's been a while, so it's a pleasure to be here as always. Yes, that's right. They call it like a shared values, option, shared moral and family values visa, and the temporary residence permit under this legal ground.
So
Right.
I'm someone who's sitting in the West. I do not share the LGBTQ plus ideology. I know of a case of a Russian family that moved to Canada, for instance, and they were frightened for their children with these gender reassigning things that even parents, can't block. So if I put myself in that situation of, let's say, a Canadian family, we have the guys Countryside Acres, for instance. They're another example, and they say, right, we want to go to Russia. What's the procedure now? Because there's President Putin's decree. It's taken some time for lawmakers and the immigration system to communicate
Yeah.
and work out the system. What is that system now? Can you tell us?
So the idea is that right now we have basically two documents, right? The presidential decree itself, which was signed on the 19th of August, and the clarifications from the Ministry of Internal Affairs that they've released a fundamental like a couple of weeks ago. So basically, if you are abroad and you're a citizen of these so-called unfriendly countries, so there is a list of 47 countries, then you can contact Russian consulate service and basically ask them for this private visa. Actually, I have no idea why did they call it like a private visa, but yeah, this is the idea. So it's a private visa for shared moral and family values. Actually, if you would check, some websites of Russian consulate services in different countries, some of them already have this, special section in the like visa sections, and it's called like shared values visa. So it's a 3 months visa. The idea is that you can contact them, and the consulate service will issue this visa. And the idea is that with this 3 months visa, you can travel to Russia and apply for the temporary residence permit under this legal ground. The list of documents is frankly, it's kind of basic. So you should provide your application. You should print out the online application and add some photos, and also they will give you some sort of a paper about this law if you're outside of Russia, right? So you should sign it. Then they will give you the visa. The consideration period of getting this visa is like from 4 to 20 days. Can you hear me, Mike? Because I think that you're frozen right now.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. All good, my end.
Oh, okay, sounds good. Okay, yeah, okay. And then, while you're abroad in your home country, there you should get 2 documents. So it is the police clearance certificate with apostille, and we also recommend to get the birth certificate also with apostille. However, the birth certificate itself is not on the list of required documents, but usually, migration officers, they ask for additional documents, and, often they ask for the birth certificate. Then the rest of the documents would be collected here in Russia. 2 important points. First, you don't have to win a quota, this kind of lottery thing, right? And secondly, you don't need to pass Russian language, history, and legislation exam, which is a big advantage for those guys who are not already here in Russia and they're only in their preparation stage of living in Russia. So that's a big bonus, I think. Then so the rest of the documents will be collected here. I mean, the application itself, whereas the legal ground for getting the temporary presence permit would be indicated this new law. And yeah, medical tests, fingerprints, then you will get your migration card when you will arrive in Russia, this little piece of paper, and registration, because once you're here in Russia, within 7 business days, you have to make the temporary registration. Any hotel or hostel is obliged to do that, or any owner of the apartment landlord has to do that as well. Yeah, basically that's it. Also, there will be a state fee. I'm not sure about the exact amount, but I think it's around like 2,000 rubles, something like this. It used to be,
Which roughly is what, like $20 US dollars?
Yeah, that's right. According to the exchange rate for today, I think it's like 1,900 rubles. Yeah, it's around $20. That's it. Then I just want to mention that again, you'll get your private visa valid for 3 months, but the consideration period of your case, TRP case, is 4 months. But everything's okay because your main goal is to be accepted by the immigration authorities. They will give you the official document which states that your documents are under consideration for 4 months period. With this so that means that you can stay in Russia legally while you're waiting for your TRP, and with this piece of paper you can prolong your registration. So your stay would be legal, and so you don't have to worry about the expiration period of your visa. So everything's okay here. When it's ready, then you can pick up the temporary presence permit. So they will make a stamp in your passport. I'm sorry, together with the 3-year visa. Yeah, basically this is the procedure.
And from there, it's normal procedure. So you get temporary residency, and once you get that, you can potentially apply for permanent residency. Is that correct?
Correct, yes. According to current legislation, if you're a holder of the temporary residence permit for at least 1 year, actually for 8 months, so you can start it after 8 months, you can apply for the permanent residence permit issued forever. But here, well, for today, we don't have any other clarifications about the next permanent residence permit. But again, if you want to apply for a permanent residence permit, then one of the needed documents is the certificate of passing Russian language, history, and legislation exam. So here, I think that you probably might just live for a certain period of time. But maybe 8 months, like 1 year, would be enough to learn some basic Russian history and legislation. Yeah, you never know. And then you can apply, yes, for the permanent residence.
So then you get on to that procedure from there. You mentioned about once your case is under consideration, do you know what criteria you have to fulfill to prove that you have shared values, or what is the criterion that you have to meet to be accepted for this shared values? So I'm going to call it asylum. It's technically not, but
yeah, well, that's a good question. The idea is that there are no, particular criteria about this, the whole procedure. The most important part is to be accepted, because again, as we always say, when you're trying to submit the ready-made package of documents, the migration authorities, their main task is to refuse, actually, because when they accept them, that means that you will get temporary presence permit. So basically, within this 4 months period, you can be refused with getting a temporary residency if you would give them fake documents, I don't know, fake police clearance, right? Or you would provide any false information about where you live, for example. Like if you would give them your registration paper, and during this 4 months period, they may visit your place of stay, and if you would be outside, or somebody would be there, but they would say no, we don't know this person, well, of course, that might be the ground for refusal, because from the legal point of view, you just give them false information. This is the idea. So the main task is to be accepted while you're trying to submit the ready-made package of documents. That's why it's better to hire lawyers. So we will check all these documents. This is the thing.
And talking of lawyers, I did want to ask, because what about a criminal record? America, obviously, felonies sometimes quite common, but is there, if you do not have an exactly clean criminal record, in my case, I had a traffic violation in the UK. That wasn't a problem for me. But presumably, we're not talking like extreme crimes, but let's say administrative traffic or these kind of things. Would that be a barrier for people? Is that codified in this legislation?
Yeah, according to the law, now if you have administrative fines, that it's okay. I mean, this kind of violations. Also, if it's a minor criminal offense, I mean, from the criminal code, it's also okay. But just if we're talking about something serious, then most probably you would be refused. Okay. Also, if you have a minor offense, and according to Russian legislation, it is also considered as a minor offense, then according to the law, they have to accept it, but you will be questioned. I mean, again, it's also about the exact officer when you'll be submitting the documents. And actually, Mike, I just want to get back a little bit. We're talking about like guys, folks who are outside of Russia right now.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say that you're here already. So you live in Russia for
it's a good example.
5 months, 1 year with a work visa or with any other type of visa. The second document is the clarifications from the Ministry of Internal Affairs. So, and they say that if you're already in Russia, then you can apply for the temporary residence permit using this new law with any type of visa. Okay,
so tourist visa. I've come here on a tourist visa. I'm like, I want to stay. Maybe it's a multiple entry visa. I go back, back and come back. Okay.
That's right. Also, there is they mentioned the permanent residence. So let's say you may be a citizen of India, right? But you may have a permanent residence in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Again, in the UK, as far as I know, you don't have this term as like permanent residence. So it's like it's not issued indefinitely. This is the thing. And right now, currently, we're waiting for some clarification. So what is considered as a permanent residence, right? So let's say I just received one of the screenshots that a person has the Canadian residence permit until 2029. So yeah, I think that we can use this permanent residence, but we just made an official request to the Ministry of Internal Affairs. I think we'll get it with some questions, and we will post news in our Telegram channel regarding these answers. Also, I just wanted to tell you about the situation with quotas. So let's say that you're from the US, right? And you would like to apply for a quota for this lottery thing. So starting from October, it is impossible. So they don't accept quota applications for citizens from these 47 countries. Okay, so basically, that's right. So you cannot. So only citizens from friendly countries right now can apply through this quota. So that means that if you're not married to a Russian citizen, you're not planning to have a Russian child, but you want to relocate to Russia, and previously you could use this quota, right? Because that was the general procedure of getting temporary residence permit. Right now, you just cannot use this lottery thing, quota. So you should apply through this new law. But again, as an advantage, you don't have to pass Russian language history and legislation, and you don't have to win any lottery. So it's kind of a solid legal ground.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, you effectively have an alternative vehicle to achieve the same. You could argue it's actually better because it's not, as you say, like a lottery sort of quota system. It's this prescribed path. Okay, and under a temporary permit, you can work, you can pay taxes, you can become a Russian tax resident, and as we said, you then have a pathway to potentially permanent residency, and if not, citizenship later on. Okay,
Yes.
so then I guess, well, you've kind of run through some of the steps on it, but as I say, you've mentioned it's better to have lawyers. So what's the procedure with yourselves? So I looked on the consulate website, I've seen the thing, but I'd rather take some advice. What's the best procedure?
So let me just start with some legal information, right? If you want to apply for the temporary residence permit, so the temporary residence permit is linked to a certain subject. I mean, let's say area of Russia or city of Russia. So Moscow is the the separated region of Russia as well as Saint Petersburg. So if you're planning to live in Moscow, then you should apply to Moscow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that means that when you get your temporary residence permit, that means that you can, for example, you can get hired only in Moscow. So
Right.
you cannot officially work in, like, I don't know, Sochi, for example. This is an important thing. And well, about us, we always strongly recommend to start the collection of the documents under our supervision in terms of implementation of your case. Simply because this is the 90% of success, and I always say that. I mean, we need to be sure that these documents, and since you're already in your home country, right, and you don't want to, come here with a 3 months visa, then find out that something is wrong with your police clearance, right, then you should get another one. And if you're from the US, it takes, at least 2 months, okay? And you have only 3 months valid visa, right? So that's why we advise to start working with us while you're still in your home country. So yeah, normally we just sign the contract after receiving the advance payment. We create a work group chat, and my colleagues, they basically take care of your case, right? Because our job here actually is just, verify everything. I mean, just to be sure that everything is, the whole package of documents is correct. So that's when you'll go to the immigration authority. They would accept them. This is our job. If you're planning to apply in St. Petersburg, for example, so we would provide all our services remotely, and in this case we can make a 10% discount, because normally our last stage of our work is to accompany your visit to the immigration authority to submit the ready-made picture of documents. However, right now, actually, from the legal point of view, it's impossible. I mean, in Sakharova, if you want to go there with your lawyer, so right now it's just impossible. So a third party, I mean, a lawyer cannot go with you. We can try to squeeze there, okay? But again, from the legal point of view, unfortunately, it's just impossible. So again, right now, as you may imagine, you don't have to pass Russian language, history, and legislation exam. So you don't speak Russian, right? But most probably you will go there alone. So I think, this is just what I think, they would be more easy to communicate, because
Right, more
this is
accommodating for you.
yeah, I believe so. I hope so, right? Because this is like, this is like another like the special, I would say, special legal ground for those who share Russian moral and family values. So that's why I hope that they would be friendly enough, knowing that you cannot really speak Russian. This is the thing.
Awesome. Yeah. I'll ask people to leave their questions and comments below if they have some further ones. But for the basic steps, yeah, thanks a lot for the clarification on certainly the procedure, because it's been very widely publicized both internally in Russia in the news and also externally. I know through other channels, and I've been asked questions myself. So for my education, that's good. I will also stress, like you said about the police, the CNI, the police certificate. That was a particular problem for me, given when I applied for, I think, temporary residency, getting it apostilled, notarized, then sent from the UK to Russia was both expensive and, as you say, it took a lot of time. So that's certainly number one thing that I would also second everyone to get before you can. The other thing being there's an expiry date on, I remember it was medical certificate. It was something like 3 months, and also your police certificate had to be renewed as well. So that was
police certificate is valid for 3 months as well, starting from the date of its issuance.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you'll be here, we just make all the fresh documents. I mean, the medical, fingerprints. So, but yeah, we should be really, accurate with the police clearance, because if you would have like expiration date, like I don't know, like if that would be like yesterday, most probably they would not accept it, unfortunately. And also, I just want to mention that during the previous week, I received so many feedbacks that most of the like consulate services from different countries, they don't even know about the procedure. But but I think that the situation has been changing actually, so they're familiar with this new law. So we will also help in getting this information from the consulate service in terms of implementation of your case, because this is a new law, okay, and we just need to wait a little bit, so all the consulate services would be familiar with it.
Excellent. Yeah. Again, I'll recommend it's, like I say, it's those little details like the expiry time. You might assume that your police certificate is fine for the duration of your application, but that's not the case. And these are sort of little things that you can only get either through experience or by communicating with people like yourselves and hiring for that expertise. Is there anything more you'd like to add or invite people to do? You mentioned about your Telegram channel where you posted news.
Yeah, please join our Telegram channel. So we post on like everyday basis all the news about laws in Russia. And again, we've made an official request to the Ministry of Internal Affairs, because we have some points that we would like to clarify also regarding this new law. So yeah, just stay tuned to our channel so you could receive the latest news. Because for example, and maybe you know about it, they just released a new, like there was a third hearing, right, for this new law for temporary and permanent residence permit for those guys who are married to Russian citizens and have Russian children. So after President would sign it, after 90 days, this law will be in legal force. And so according to this decree, you have to live for at least 3 years in marriage. So you have to be married for at least 3 years.
They changed it from 2 to 3 years, as I understand, to prevent.
No. Actually, right now you can apply right away if you're married, but they want to fight against fake marriages, and so they put it like this term, which is 3 years, right? And for example, if you're not married to the mother of your Russian child, then you can apply also only after 3 years for the permanent residence permit. And this decree says, and I think they will keep it in the final version, that you should go to the court and prove that you basically have a some sort of you pay for your child and you're just live with them. So that's a new law, and we post news about them. So you may join our Telegram channel. Also, we have a separate channel for, like, it's called Braiden Services, where you can check all our services with costs, so you could be, you could receive this information as well.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, because I understand you provide services for expats that live in Russia already and things like this. So yeah, excellent. Yeah. Well, I think that's all on everything. So thank you very much for bringing me up to speed on that. I sometimes share the big news, as I've said, in my main channel, but the finer details very much in yours. Do keep me posted if there's anything that you think is relevant to the audience. But thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot, Mike. It's been a pleasure, and see you next time. Thank you so much.